families left town or moved away. We stayed. My dad continued his medical practice, and he and my mom remained vitally involved in the community. My brothers and I grew up, went off to university, and eventually moved on, but Springhill was still home to us. It took a few years, but people there got on with life and began to hold up their heads again. Springhillers are resilient. They've always taken pride in their community. I know I'm still proud to call myself a Springhiller. I always will be. This year marks the 65th anniversary of the Springhill mine disaster. The world has changed a lot since 1958, but in some ways, not all that much has changed. All of the coal mines in Nova Scotia had been closed for years until recently, when one reopened in Donkin, Cape Breton. New mines are being opened elsewhere in the world, too. People are still burning coal in many countries, and miners are still dying in cave-ins, bumps, and accidents. I think there are lessons to be learned from what happened in Springhill, but it does seem we've failed to learn them. Ken Cuthbertson makes that point in the book you're about to read. I think he's right in arguing that the story of the final Springhill mine disaster is a cautionary tale that's worth remembering. In 1958, it was my hometown that was in peril. Today, it's the world. Introduction. A disaster waiting to happen. Death cares nothing for etiquette. All too often, like the unwelcome visitor that it is, death arrives unannounced and unexpectedly. It did that on the evening of October 23, 1958. 174 miners were at work deep within the Dominion Steel and Coal Corporation, DOSCO colliery at Springhill, Nova Scotia, when the earth suddenly moved. Scores of men died instantly. Others escaped death only because they somehow scrambled to safety. Still others, two groups totaling 20 men, found themselves trapped deep underground in the eternal darkness. Many of them had suffered serious injuries. Several were clinging to life by the slimmest of threads. All prayed for a miracle rescue. At the surface in Springhill, people felt a bump, a Nova Scotia Energy and Mines senior geologist would say many years later. That wouldn't explain what the miners felt deep underground. It was much more violent. Shockwaves from the killer tremors took just 17 seconds to travel 110 miles through the earth to the seismograph at Dalhousie University in Halifax, and a little more than a minute to reach Ottawa, 800 miles to the west. It has been guesstimated that the force of what locals ever after would refer to as the bump, as it became known with a capital B, was the equivalent of about 1,000 tons of dynamite being exploded underground. That may well have been the case, for the dire consequences of the resulting upheaval stand to this day as one of Canada's worst ever workplace disasters. Springhill, a hard-luck town if ever there was one, had a long, painful history of such suffering. Whenever there was an emergency at DOSCO's No. 2 coal mine at Springhill, a whistle usually sounded. However, on this particular evening, that alarm was silent, at least initially. Not that it really mattered. The instant the townspeople heard the rumble and felt the ground shake, they knew there was trouble at the mine. Big trouble. On the streets of town, the tremors were strong enough to make weathered wooden buildings creak and groan. Window glass shattered. Spider-web-like cracks scored plaster walls and ceilings. Dishes chattered on kitchen shelves. Lights flickered. Televisions went dark. Some townspeople were rendered speechless. Children cried out in fear. Dogs whimpered as they scrambled to find shelter. In Miners' Memorial Park on the town's main street, the iconic white miner memorial statue quivered atop its 16-foot-tall plinth. For 63 years, that solitary marble figure had borne silent witness to the harsh realities of life in this hard-scrabble, one-industry town. Old King Coal dominated every aspect of life in Springhill for 9 decades, and regrettably, this monarch